In the vast, echoing chamber of the Galactic Council, Ambassador Una Park stood alone. Her dark hair was pulled back neatly, her navy blue diplomatic suit crisp and unwrinkled. Around her, alien representatives from 100 different star systems watched with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. The holographic display behind her flickered to life, showing images of Earth, a blue-green planet that looked almost unremarkable at first glance. But Una knew appearances could be deceiving. "Representatives of the Galactic Council," she began, her voice steady and clear. "Today I come to introduce humanity, a species you have previously overlooked." The chamber was silent. Translucent beings with multiple limbs shifted in their floating seats. Crystalline entities pulsed with soft colors. Gaseous creatures swirled within containment fields. Each waited, expecting another mundane presentation about a newly discovered civilization. They were wrong. Una's first image showed Earth's landscape, not the peaceful scenes most alien civilizations presented, but a world of extreme contrasts. Volcanic mountains erupted beside frozen tundras. Hurricanes raged across oceans while deserts burned under merciless sunlight. This was no gentle planet. This was a battlefield where life fought for every single breath. "Our planet," she explained, "is what you would classify as a Class 10 Deathworld. Survival here was never guaranteed. Every single organism, including humans, had to evolve or perish." The council members began to lean forward. Class 10. Deathworlds were legendary. Theoretical planets so harsh that complex life was considered impossible. No known civilization had ever emerged from such an environment. Una clicked to the next image. It showed early human ancestors, primitive creatures standing upright, facing down massive predators, surviving ice ages, volcanic winters, and constant environmental challenges. Their bodies were not impressive by galactic standards. No exoskeletons, no natural armor, no regenerative capabilities, just determination. "We did not have natural weapons," she continued. "No venomous fangs, no impenetrable skin. Our only advantage was our mind and our ability to adapt." A tentacled representative from the Krelnak system raised a translucent appendage. "How did you survive?" The question carried genuine bewilderment. Una smiled. A human smile, part invitation, part challenge. She showed them images of human innovation. Stone tools becoming metal implements, simple fires transforming into complex technologies, wooden wheels evolving into spacecraft. Each image represented not just technological progress, but a species constantly reinventing itself to overcome impossible odds. "We turn limitations into opportunities," she said. "Where other species saw barriers, we saw puzzles to solve." The council chamber grew quieter. The alien representatives were no longer casual observers. They were becoming students, learning about a species they had completely misunderstood. Una's presentation wasn't just about Earth, it was about humanity's core nature. A relentless, almost unreasonable drive to survive, to understand, to grow. A species that didn't just accept the world as it was, but constantly asked, "How can we make this better?" Her final slide showed a human child looking through a telescope, eyes bright with wonder. Behind the child, a rocket prepared for launch. In the foreground, complex mathematical equations were scribbled on a chalkboard. "We are not just survivors," Una said softly. "We are explorers. We are dreamers. And we are here." The silence that followed was not dismissal. It was respect. Somewhere in that massive chamber, the understanding of intelligent life was subtly, permanently changing. Humanity was no longer an unknown footnote. They were a force to be recognized. And Ambassador Una Park had just opened the first chapter of that recognition. After the initial presentation, the Galactic Council requested a deeper exploration of human biological capabilities. Scientific advisor Jae-hoon Kim stepped forward, his digital presentation ready to challenge everything they knew about life. The first image showed a human climbing Mount Everest, a mountain so tall and cold that most species would instantly perish. The human wore simple protective gear, but no advanced life support systems. Just layers of fabric and determination. Humans survive where other species would die within minutes, Jae-hoon explained. His voice was calm, almost matter-of-fact. Our bodies are not special. Our adaptation is. He demonstrated human temperature ranges. From the scorching deserts of Africa where temperatures reached 50 degrees Celsius, to the freezing Antarctic research stations where temperatures dropped to -60 degrees. Humans survived. Not just survived, they worked, they explored, they lived. A silicon-based life form from the Proxima cluster raised a crystalline appendage. Impossible. It communicated through translation systems. No biological entity can withstand such extreme variations. Jae-hoon simply smiled. The next series of images were more shocking. Humans diving in deep ocean trenches. Humans walking through radioactive zones. Humans surviving diseases that would obliterate other species. Each image told a story of unexpected resilience. He showed medical records of human recovery. A soldier with 70% body burns, recovering. A mountain climber with frozen limbs, surviving. A cancer patient fighting against cellular destruction. Not through advanced technology, but through biological resistance and mental strength. We do not have regenerative capabilities like some galactic species, Jae-hoon explained. But we have something more powerful, adaptability and willpower. The presentation shifted to human immune systems. Unlike other species that relied on external protection, humans developed internal defense mechanisms. Their white blood cells could identify and destroy unknown threats. Their antibodies learned and remembered, creating permanent defense strategies. A gaseous entity from the Andromeda. Regions flickered with confusion. Biological learning was rare in the galaxy. Most species had static immune responses. Jae-hoon then revealed something truly remarkable. Human pregnancy, a biological process so complex and dangerous that it seemed deliberately designed to challenge survival. A human female's body completely transformed, risking its own stability to create new life. No external support, no technological intervention. Pure biological engineering. We turn potential weakness into strength, he said. He demonstrated human sensory adaptation. Humans could hear sounds across complex frequencies. They could see colors in nuanced spectrums. Their sense of touch could detect microscopic temperature changes. Their smell could identify complex chemical compositions. But more than physical abilities, Jae-hoon emphasized human mental adaptation. The ability to learn languages quickly, to understand complex mathematical concepts, to solve problems through creative thinking. We are not the strongest, he said. We are not the fastest, but we adapt faster than any species in the known galaxy. The final segment of his presentation was unexpected. He showed humans helping each other, rescuing strangers from natural disasters, donating organs to unknown individuals, sacrificing personal comfort for community survival. This was biological, revelation beyond physical capabilities. This was a species that understood survival was not just individual, but collective. The Galactic Council was no longer skeptical. They were fascinated. A robotic representative from the Quantum Collective spoke. Its mechanical voice carried a hint of what could only be described as respect. Explain how such an unremarkable biological entity developed such complex survival mechanisms. Jae-hoon's response was simple and profound. We never accepted that we couldn't. In that moment, humanity was no longer just another species. They were a biological anomaly, a constant surprise waiting to be understood. In the Galactic Council's central chamber, historical analyst Sung-Min Lee prepared to unveil humanity's technological journey. Unlike previous presentations filled with complex jargon, he chose a different approach: storytelling. Imagine a species starting with nothing, Sung-Min began. Just stones and curiosity. The first holographic image showed primitive humans, creating simple tools. A stone transformed into a cutting implement, a wooden stick becoming a hunting weapon. Each modification represented more than a technological step. It was a fundamental understanding of problem solving. Alien representatives leaned forward, their various sensory organs focusing intensely. Sungmin's presentation demonstrated humanity's unique technological progression. Where other species developed technology through careful, calculated steps, humans innovated through desperate necessity and wild imagination. He showed the agricultural revolution, humans transforming from hunter-gatherers to systematic food producers. They didn't just adapt to environments, they reshaped environments to suit their needs. Barren lands became fertile farms. Desert regions became thriving settlements. The Industrial Revolution followed. Steam engines, electricity, mechanical systems that transformed human capability. Each technological leap happened within decades, a speed unimaginable to most galactic civilizations that took centuries for similar progressions. We don't wait, Sungmin explained. We create. Warfare became an unexpected catalyst for human innovation. World conflicts, though tragic, accelerated technological development. Airplanes emerged from military requirements. Computers originated from cryptographic challenges. Medical advancements came through understanding battlefield injuries. A crystalline diplomat from the Zenthari system pulsed with confusion. You developed through conflict? We developed through challenge, Sungmin corrected. The digital presentation shifted. Space exploration wasn't just a scientific endeavor. It was human imagination made real. Wooden ships became metal vessels. Rockets pierced atmospheric barriers. Humans landed on their own moon using computers with less processing power than a modern calculator. Technological evolution wasn't linear for humans. It was explosive, unpredictable, driven by collective imagination. Sungmin showed the Internet's birth, a global communication network that transformed human knowledge sharing. Suddenly, information became democratized. A farmer in rural Africa could access the same scientific research as a professor in Cambridge. Quantum computing, genetic engineering, artificial intelligence. Each technological domain showed human potential to reimagine possibilities. We don't just use technology, Sungmin said. We dream it into existence. The most shocking revelation was human adaptability. When faced with environmental challenges like climate change, humans didn't just accept defeat. They started developing renewable energy, creating carbon capture technologies, reimagining entire industrial systems. A robotic entity from the mechanical. Collective processed the information. Calculations showed that human technological progression defied standard galactic models. Sungmin's final segment focused on something unexpected: human technological empathy. Technologies weren't just about power or efficiency, they were about solving human problems. Medical technologies to cure diseases, communication systems to connect distant communities, agricultural innovations to fight global hunger. We measure technology not by its complexity, he explained, but by its ability to improve life. The Galactic Council was silent. These weren't just technological achievements. This was a species that turned limitations into opportunities, a civilization that looked at impossible challenges and saw potential solutions. One alien representative whispered a translation that captured the essence of the presentation. They don't just survive, they transform. Sungmin's presentation ended, but the understanding of human potential had fundamentally changed. Humanity wasn't just another species in the galaxy. They were technological innovators, dreamers, and relentless problem solvers. The Galactic Council chamber grew quiet as cultural interpreter Hee-Jin Choi prepared to reveal humanity's most complex dimension: psychological resilience. She began with a simple story: a child trapped in a collapsed building after an earthquake. Most species would surrender. This child did not. The holographic display showed rescue footage. The child, dusty and injured, was helping other survivors before seeking personal safety. Not out of training, not out of protocol, but from an instinctive understanding of collective survival. Humans are not defined by individual preservation, Hee-Jin explained. We survive together. Alien representatives shifted uncomfortably. This concept was alien to most galactic civilizations, where individual survival trumped collective welfare. She demonstrated human emotional complexity through unexpected examples. Soldiers risking lives to save enemy wounded. Strangers donating kidney to unknown individuals. Communities rebuilding after devastating natural disasters. The psychological presentation wasn't about physical strength. It was about emotional intelligence. He-Jin showed brain scans revealing something extraordinary. Human brains didn't just process information, they created complex emotional narratives. They could simultaneously experience multiple emotional states: grief and hope, fear and courage, pain and joy. A crystalline diplomat pulsed with confusion. How can one brain process such contradictory emotions? That's human nature. He-Jin smiled. Complexity is our strength. She revealed psychological adaptations developed through centuries of challenging environments. Humor as a survival mechanism. Creativity as a problem-solving tool. Empathy as a collective defense strategy. The presentation demonstrated how humans transform trauma into resilience. Survivors of wars, natural disasters, personal losses didn't just recover. They grew stronger. They rebuilt. They helped others. Mental health wasn't a weakness in human society. It was a critical survival skill. He-Jin showed psychological studies of human motivation. Unlike programmed robotic species or genetically predetermined alien civilizations, humans could fundamentally change their life trajectories through mental determination. A child born in poverty could become a scientific innovator. A war refugee could become a global peace advocate. These weren't exceptions. These were consistent human patterns. We are not limited by our circumstances, she explained. We are defined by our choices. The most shocking revelation was human capacity for forgiveness. Communities that experienced generations of conflict finding paths to reconciliation. Individuals choosing understanding over revenge. Entire nations rebuilding relationships after devastating wars. Alien representatives began to understand. This wasn't just a species. This was a psychological phenomenon. He-Jin's final segment focused on human creativity. Art as emotional expression. Music as collective healing. Literature as a method of understanding complex human experiences. She played a musical composition. Notes that carried pain, joy, struggle, and hope. The entire chamber felt the emotional complexity. We don't just survive, He-Jin said softly. We feel, we create, we transform. The psychological presentation revealed something profound. Humans weren't just biological entities, they were walking, breathing emotional universes. Their psychology wasn't a weakness. It was their most powerful survival mechanism. A robotic diplomat from the quantum collective processed the information. Its computational systems struggled to understand this irrational, unpredictable, beautifully complex species. He-Jin's presentation ended, but the understanding of human potential had fundamentally shifted. Humanity wasn't just another species in the galaxy. They were emotional innovators, psychological architects, masters of turning pain into possibility. And their emotional journey was just beginning. The Galactic Council sat in stunned silence. Something extraordinary had just been revealed. Humanity had arrived. Ambassador Una Park returned to the podium, her presence commanding immediate silence in the massive Galactic Council chamber. The previous presentations had transformed this space from a diplomatic hall into a stage of revelation. We are not here to conquer, she began. We are here to collaborate. The alien representatives leaned forward, their previous skepticism replaced by genuine curiosity. Humanity had systematically dismantled every preconceived notion about their species during the past 4 presentations. Una's holographic display showed Earth's current global challenges: climate change, resource management, social inequalities. But instead of presenting these as weaknesses, she revealed them as opportunities for collective problem-solving. Our greatest strength, she explained, is our ability to recognize our limitations and transform them into solutions. A delegation from the quantum collective, previously the most skeptical, now listened with unprecedented attention. Humanity. was no longer an unknown variable. They were a potential galactic partner. Una presented Earth's collaborative technologies, open-source scientific research, global communication networks, international space exploration programs. These weren't just technological achievements. They were evidence of humanity's core diplomatic philosophy. "We believe knowledge grows when shared," she said, "not when hoarded." The presentation shifted to humanity's potential contributions. Advanced medical research developed during pandemic responses, sustainable energy technologies, climate restoration strategies. Each solution carried the potential to benefit multiple galactic civilizations. Alien representatives began to see humanity differently, not as a threat, not as a primitive species, but as innovative problem solvers with a unique perspective. Una demonstrated humanity's diplomatic approach, not through military might but through cultural exchange, language learning programs, educational collaborations, scientific partnerships. Humanity wanted to learn as much as they wanted to contribute. A crystalline diplomat from the Xanthari system projected a communication pulse that translated to, "You seek understanding, not dominance." "Exactly," Una responded. She revealed humanity's most radical diplomatic strategy, embracing diversity as a strength. Unlike many galactic civilizations with rigid social structures, humans celebrated different perspectives, different cultures, different thought processes. The holographic display showed multicultural cities, people from different backgrounds, working together. Scientific teams composed of individuals from various continents. Each collaboration demonstrated the power of collective intelligence. "Our differences are not barriers," Una explained. "They are our greatest resource." The final segment of her presentation focused on humanity's long-term vision. Not immediate galactic conquest, but gradual, respectful integration, sharing technologies, developing mutual understanding, creating a collaborative interstellar community. Robotic representative calculated the potential collaborative outcomes. The mathematical projections were overwhelmingly positive. Una's last image was simple, yet powerful. A human child looking at a star map, eyes filled with wonder and hope. This wasn't just a picture. It was a promise of future exploration. "We come in peace," she said, "but we also come with potential." The Galactic Council's atmosphere had transformed. What began as a routine diplomatic meeting had become a fundamental re-evaluation of intelligent life's possibilities. Humanity wasn't just requesting membership in the galactic community. They were offering a new perspective on collaboration. "Xiao." Una finished her presentation. Something unprecedented happened. Representatives from different star systems, who had never agreed on anything, began discussing potential collaborative projects with humanity. A diplomatic transformation was complete. Humanity had arrived. Not with weapons, not with threats, but with an open hand and an open mind.